I'm so tired of 2025 lists and year in review specials.
That's great. I have bad news for you. We're going to do one of those. But wait, we'll make it okay because we will also do a 2026 preview.
Fuck's sake. So this is our 2025 year in review and 2026 preview?
That's on this episode of So Much Crime.
So little time.
Dee, I think I have something really important for you at this moment in this show that I wanted to share. Are you ready?
No.
Okay.
Yes?
I know I've spent a lot of time last year in 2025 talking about how much joy I got out of being a Patreon member for our show and listening to myself. But I know this is maybe not the thing that most people do, but I've been thinking a lot about this. All right, I'm just gonna say it. Dee, I think you really need to resolve to work on yourself a little bit in 2026. And specifically, I think it's time for you to join our Patreon.
Do you think so? I think I could just get my husband to up his tiers.
No, I think it's time for you to do it. I think you've been
Really?
putting it off for so long.
I have been.
You're so unhappy all the time, and I think it's because you don't listen to our outtakes. You don't
Listen to our episodes.
You're
Please
always
don't do
complaining that the time machines are too short, and you just wish there was like more to them. And if you went to patreon.com/so-much-crime so little time, why not do that right now? This is the moment, really, for...
So, Jeff, what you're saying to me is I need to focus on the controllables and I need to take control of my happiness and go to patreon.com/so-much-crime so little time to find content that's going to make me laugh and think I'm hilarious and you're not? Yeah, that's a good point. I think that'll work.
All I can say is, who owns the problem, Dee?
Not a net. That's what I'll tell you. So why don't you fulfill your New Year's resolution early? Join our Patreon. Patreon.com/so-much-crime, so little time. Welcome to So Much Crime, So Little Time. I'm Dee.
And I'm Jeff. And today we are going to give you some really fun stuff. First, we're going to look back at 2025. We're going to share some stats on the year that was. We're going to play a little superlatives game, and then we're going to look ahead to 2026, talk about our hopes, our dreams, our hopes, our dreams for 2026. Okay, shall we jump in with some stats?
Okay. I'm so prepared. I have no idea what you're going to ask me.
All right, let's run through some questions. Let's first talk about our audience. So if you're listening to this show right now, you are a part of our audience, and let's explore a little bit about who you are. So, Dee, first... let's talk about, well, these are the stats that we have. So I'm working off the stats that we get from a few different sources. First, I'm going to talk about some stats we get from Spotify. Do you have any idea of the gender breakdown? So I'm first going to say that about 2% of our listeners are either non-binary or haven't specified a gender. But of those that are either male or female, what do you think the breakdown is?
I'm going to say 72 to 28. Female to male.
Not even close. 54 female, 44 male. Yeah.
Whoa.
I know. Okay, let's move on to age. So this is broken up into 10-year brackets that go like mid-decade to mid-decade. So like 15 to 25, 26 to, actually, no, it starts, 26 to...
So
on.
35.
Yeah. What do you think is the top bracket of our fans?
I feel like what you're asking me is, do the older people that are friends with you listen more, or do the younger people who are friends with me listen more? Is that what's happening?
Which one of us is more popular by our peers?
The 30s.
No.
Is it you in the 40s?
It's actually the 45. This actually breaks the rule as it gets higher up in age. 45 to 59. That's 45% of our audience on Spotify.
Love that.
Yeah. The next biggest group is the 35 to 44-year-olds. That's 40% of our audience. So those are your peers, I think?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next biggest group after that drops all the way down to 6%. That's the 28 to 34-year-olds.
Also, my friends.
All right, let's move on to something different. Across all platforms, so not just Spotify, how many different countries do you think are out there in the world that have listened to So Much Crime, So Little Time in the last year?
Okay, I'm going to start with something and you say higher or lower and then I'll do a second guess, okay?
Okay.
12.
Higher.
The way you said higher makes me think it's like way higher.
It is way higher.
28.
Higher.
39.
Higher.
What?
Yeah, it is. Higher.
72.
Lower.
Lower.
You went too high.
63.
No, keep going lower. Yeah, you went way too high.
54.
Pretty close. 48. I'm going to stop you there. 48.
Okay.
Okay. Which country do you think most of our listeners are from? What's the top country?
USA. USA.
That's the only
Am I
proper
right?
way to say that. Yeah. Any guess on what percentage of our listeners are from the United States?
I feel like you gave out to me about this recently. I would say 84.
74. 74%.
74.
What do you think the second biggest country for our listeners is?
Ireland.
It is Ireland. So 74% of our listeners are from the
Yay!
United States. What percent do you think are from Ireland?
All right. Okay. 11.
Almost on the dot. 12, actually. Third, by the way, is the United Kingdom with 5% of our listeners. And there's a whole lot of countries that are in the low single digits. But 48 total countries listen to our show in 2025, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I'm not going to read them off 48 countries now because that would be boring for our listeners. But I am going to ask you, in terms of the stories we covered in 2025, first of all, one of our goals, as I remember, was to visit more places in the world. How many countries do you think we visited in 2025?
Is this including if a podcast brought us, with the Diana story, it brought us to England and then to Paris, it hopped?
No. So basically, I'm counting the places we focus the time machine on. So the Diana story is a good example where
Okay.
the Diana story, we did our time machine for Paris where the crime happened. So that technically was France.
Okay.
One per show.
And we did how many shows?
49.
And are you saying how many countries?
Yes.
14.
That's very close. It's 11. 11 countries.
Ooh.
Which one do you think we went to the most?
America.
Yeah, 28 times. 28 times in America. Second most.
We did do 3 in Ireland.
Yes, we did. 3 in Ireland. But there's a country we went to more than Ireland. England also 3 times. Which country we were in 6 times?
France?
No? Boy, I thought this was an easy one.
Canada?
Canada. Yeah, Canada was our second most popular country. And then, Ireland and England 3. France, we went twice. Australia twice. Then Philippines, Syria, Scotland, South Korea, and Japan. Okay, let's narrow it down. In the United States, first of all, how many states are there?
50.
50. That's right. How many do you think we went to?
How many? We did 49 countries.
49 countries. We were in the United States 28 times. So it's less than 28.
Thank you for
That's math.
giving me that.
Math teacher here.
21.
Very close. 19. Which state do you think we went to the most?
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It's pretty good.
We went to Alaska twice, 3 times.
You keep saying that. It doesn't make it true.
Did we only go there
We
once?
only went there once, yeah. But you were convinced we'd been there before, which just wasn't true.
Okay.
Number 1 state.
I think it's high on my list of places I want to go, so maybe that's what I conflate it with.
All right. What's a place you've been? You are?
California?
California. 5 times in California. 3 times in New York. Okay, now let's just, last couple of stats for you. What crime do you think we covered the most?
Murder.
It's murder, yeah. 20 times. We did 20 stories about murder. Second most, any guesses? 7 times.
We did a lot of scamming this year.
That's it.
Not us personally. Okay.
Also,
Just to clarify.
I mean, who can say?
We didn't scam.
All right. My last bit is a little bit on the popularity of some of our episodes and some of our clips. Any guess of what our most popular episode was on Spotify in 2025? This surprised me.
Okay. I would probably go with Diana.
Yeah, that's a good guess, but it's not in the top 3.
What?
I know. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get this. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm really curious if people out there could tell us why.
Was this year are we counting our bonuses?
Yes, but it's not a bonus.
It's not NXIVM, is it?
No. Let me just tell you.
I give up.
Our most popular episode on Spotify was the recap of Who Killed Jennifer Judd.
What?
I know. Followed by the preview episode of Root of Evil, the Black Dahlia one. Followed by the recap of Steak Knife. Those are our top 3 on Spotify. Now, those stats don't include YouTube. On YouTube, our top episodes, our number 2 episode was also the Jennifer Judd recap. That did really well on both Spotify and YouTube. In fact, Jennifer Judd is now one of our top episodes of all time.
Wild.
The other 2 top ones on YouTube, one of them was our Summer Shorts episode on DNA ID on Jeannie Childs, and then the criminal episode on Tabitha. Those are our top YouTube performers.
Do you know what they all have in common?
What?
Women.
Yeah, they do. Well, not Steak Knife, but the other ones. Yeah, they all do. Okay, my last thing from the stats. We blew up on TikTok this year. We had posts from 2 of our stories that just exploded. One got almost 100,000 views. The other one got over 60,000 views. Do you know what stories those were on?
I do not.
All right. The one that got almost 100,000 views, if you're not following us on TikTok, you should definitely check it out, was a clip from our episode, actually from 2024 on Omaima Nelson. And then the one that got over 60,000 views was from one of the first stories we covered in 2025, The Clearing. And then on YouTube, we had one that went super viral. That was from Tabitha, the criminal episode. It was about guessing the hit song from 1983 that was Every Breath You Take from the Police. That one blew up on YouTube.
I got that.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
You did. Okay, those are our stats. All right, let us talk about some superlatives.
Okay, Jeff, it's time. I find it funny that the starting question here is like, did I listen to that? The pod I have no memory of. And it's like, well, how am I supposed to remember what I have no memory? I honestly also feel bad when we do this one because I'm like, I have no memory of what I had for breakfast. Like, so if I don't remember a podcast, it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily.
This is a mean place to start.
Sign.
Yeah, you're right.
It is a mean place to start. But let's do it anyway.
Okay. What did you say for this one?
Japan crime desu.
Oh, yeah. I almost picked that.
Did you forget about that one?
No, because that had, okay. And I got to say, this is the difference between you and me, aside from you being a goldfish and me not being a goldfish, is that I have to look up the images. I do image searches for these to compile those clips for social media. And sometimes these ones have really haunting images that stick with me. And that one did. Because that had the child murderer. And I saw some things that I can't unsee. So I couldn't forget that one.
That's fair.
And actually, now that I say that,
I do nothing, so I didn't remember that.
You don't even watch the clips. I picked Final Destination, the Invisible Choir one, which partially I think it's just a poor title. Right? Like it's one of those titles where
was that?
I can't remember. I don't know. But looking back at our episode titles, I'm like, I couldn't tell you what that one was about from the title.
Invisible Choir?
Yeah. Final Destination is the episode name. Invisible Choir is the show. You also don't remember it. It was a summer short, I think. I think it was about a woman getting murdered. Yeah.
But your man tries to like steal her house and stuff.
Yeah. No, it came back to me when I looked it up. But I was like, no recollection from the title. All right. Let's talk about favorite host.
All right. Yeah. Who could we choose?
I had a hard time with this. There were a lot that I liked.
So the few that I liked, I mean, Thrasher Banks, just his name alone,
Best name.
I was like
Yeah.
just obsessed with. And I don't know, there was something very genuine about the entire podcast.
Lords
I
of
felt.
Death.
And
Yeah.
also we got to meet him and he was so nice.
That's who I picked. I picked Thrasher Banks.
Did
Yeah.
you?
How disappointed were you when he told us that Thrasher Banks wasn't his real name?
I think about that far too often.
Yeah.
I'll
Same.
be honest with you. I do. I often think about how upset I am that that's a fact.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. That's a tough pill to swallow now, I have to say.
Related? What's a podcast you can't stop thinking about?
Binding Ruby.
Yeah.
I think about that podcast in some form or another a lot.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's upsetting.
It is. Yeah. Which one is yours?
I said the Skywalks.
Is it Camp Shane? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Camp Shane.
Camp Shame, I think, was just maybe too recent to know. I think I'm curious, like, if I come back to it in a few months. But the Skywalks was a long time ago, and it's amazing because it was one episode. It was a single episode story from Summer Shorts, and I still think about that a lot.
Do you think about it a lot when you're like going across like bridges and stuff?
Yeah, I do.
See, like I would have thought about that going across bridges, not that podcast, but in general. Anyway, so I think maybe like it's unleashed something in you, but that was always there in me.
No, I mean, I think about this when I step onto an elevator. I think about this when I'm on like going under an overpass, like a bridge. And some of that I was already thinking about, like, because it was implanted in my brain from like the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake where the Bay Bridge, the top half collapsed onto the bottom half, which I watched on TV when I was a kid. So I think about that all the time. I don't go on that bridge, by the way. I just avoid it. I know they rebuilt it. It's a whole new bridge.
We are the same. For a podcast that you, I suppose, would find it. What's a podcast you couldn't go back and listen? Not saying that it wasn't well done, but that you just couldn't listen to again.
Oh, I wouldn't listen to Finding Ruby again. I think the subject matter was too difficult. What about you?
It's hard to move away from that one.
Yeah.
So I think that was like the most challenging listen. And then like one that I just couldn't listen to again, I think is Scamanda. Like,
yeah, Scamanda.
That just irritated me so much. And it was so popular. Like people loved it. And I'm like, okay, people love that for you. Tell me what you loved, because it was just so annoying.
You know what's interesting about those two? I would say Finding Ruby is the one where I wondered, like, is this the show that breaks us and makes us not want to do this anymore because it's so difficult? And Scamanda is the one that could have broken us in a different way of like, I don't want to be the podcast that just shits on popular podcasts, because that's not fun. Like, it's fun for about 5 minutes and then it's not fun.
No. But in saying that, you wouldn't listen to that again.
Scamanda? No, I wouldn't listen. I definitely wouldn't listen. You're right. I didn't think of that to put that for this one, but yeah, definitely not. Please no. Never again. Oh, I can still hear the voice. The voice.
I know, it's so annoying. I feel like last year and this year again, we're going to discuss our best guest on the show. But like, honestly, I don't think that's fair. We have had some absolute bangers of guests on the show.
Yeah, you're right.
We had a forensic expert. We had, with Megan Sarkisian, we had a royal expert.
Stacey, yeah.
Stacey.
She was great.
We had like an insider in Gainesville who fucking tricked me. I'll never forget that, Justin
McDonald, yeah. Amazing.
And
Love
then
that.
like Connor was back on.
Connor, yeah, on our 100th episode.
And Kyle.
Yeah.
And then we had so many interviews that we did. Like, I mean, how many interviews did we this year?
We did a lot.
We did Julie Ireton.
Yeah.
We did Thrasher Banks. Kelsey Snelling. We did Todd Buckman.
Yeah. We had Chris Mancini too to talk about the
Chris
Doodler.
Mancini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of interviews this year. It was a big year for interviews.
It was a big year for interviews. Interviews are sometimes where I feel like I don't know, I just learn so much. And I think there's like an additional appreciation for like everything that goes in, you know, the blood, sweat and tears really that goes into making a podcast and putting it all together.
Can I say, so I couldn't have one answer to this question. I think they were all real. And I know this is like saying all of your children are your favorite child, but they were all great. Everyone who we brought. It's funny. Something came up on, there's a podcast that I subscribe to about making podcasts, and it's like tips for making podcasts. And there was an episode that came out recently that was called something like, what do you do when your guest is terrible? It was something to that effect. And I didn't listen to it because I was like, we've never had that problem. We've never had a guest that's come on. It's like, this guest is terrible. Like, they've all been good.
No.
But I think one of the things that I really loved about, so we talked about Thrasher Banks, and one of the things I really loved was when he had listened to our show and called me out on something critical I said. I love that. That was so good. And he was okay with talking to us, and he was like, yeah, well, I want to just push back. It was about the music, wasn't it? It was about the music. The titles, the episode titles. Yeah. I also loved, I mean, again, they all did wonderful things. Todd Bookman from New Hampshire Public Radio, one of the things I really liked that he did was he talked about how before coming on our show, he listened back to the final days of Sergeant Tibbs and was like, man, I was so serious. And I just thought that was great self-reflection about himself. And it was a great thing to share. No, there isn't just one. You don't have just one, right? You love them all? No, I just adore, Jeff, you and I have spoken about this so many times since we started doing this. I just really enjoy it. I sometimes, when we take breaks from it, I'm like, oh, I have to go and record tonight or whatever. And every time I do, I really get energized, and I get this additional energy when we have a guest on, whether it's someone we're interviewing or whether it's just someone joining in our chat and bringing in some of their expertise. We're just here for the lols. And it gives me, I don't know, it gives me energy. Like, people have said to me, like, how do you fit all this in? You've work, you've 2 young kids, you've a dog, you know, you've all these extra stuff you're doing, and you've a podcast. Like, how do you fit it all in? And like, it really does give me energy. It's something I really enjoy doing, and I think the guests really add to that. Yeah. It's also fantastic when someone comes on and joins in slagging you. Well, it's like, you know, that part's not so fun. Additional validation that we should remember that correct thing to do. That Justin really got you. He had you going there. He really did. Speaking, the only reason that worked is because it wasn't you, though. If you tried to do that, I'd be like calling bullshit way earlier. That's probably true. I just assumed Justin was such a nice and genuine and honest, yes, I said it, just an honest guy, that he wouldn't trick me. Such a trickster. I will say that was my idea, but he really took it and ran with it, and all credit to him. He ran in circles with it. He ran in circles around me with it. There are documents of his prep that you will never see. Let's talk real quick. I had 2 answers to this next one, which is the least impressive criminal or crime. Who really was bad at what they were trying to do? I mean, it's hard not to say Caitlin Braun. Oh, that's a good answer. I didn't think of that one. Yeah. Because I feel like since we've done that podcast, actually, where are we going? Where you like forget to press the button? I feel like we had this conversation, but maybe it wasn't you. Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, I forgot to press start. Where? I can't remember where that was. You're right. That just happened. I was giving you a lift home one day, and like, I don't know. I feel like I think about that, and it's kind of hard to say that she was the least impressive criminal. It was definitely the least impressive crime. Well, no, was it though? Because she managed to fool people. So is it the least impressive criminal? Well, but she just was. Yeah. So like,
I feel like that's kind of degrading to the victims that were impacted, like, you know, in very vulnerable situations and
That's a good
positions
point.
from the story itself. But she was just a fucking idiot.
Which there were a lot of that we talked about this year. There were a lot that I thought you could give for this one. I had two. One of mine was Gay Girl Gone, where because I was also thinking about like which were the ones that I thought were both profoundly dumb and infuriating in how they got away with it for as long as they did. And that was one. The other one that's sort of similar was How to Tell a Dumb American Story, the This American Life episode, where, I mean, that was the woman who named her children Aryan and Nation. And I just, like, it hurt my brain a little bit to listen to that one. And she killed someone, right? Like that, I mean, that had the worst consequences imaginable. Yeah, those are my answers to that one.
Oh, why did we not say The Glitch?
No,
Dan
The Glitch.
Saunders was a terrible criminal.
The Glitch, I actually have down as the case that made me the most hopeful. That man.
I love that.
He's a folk hero. He's inspiring.
Yeah.
I loved that one. That was a great podcast.
The amount of times I have told people about that story, and there's two anecdotes I tell from it. I bet you can guess one of them.
Not the brother and sister.
No, that was so bad. I never want to think about that again.
I mean, I think about the cash in the bathtub. I think about the Prada strippers at the Prada store.
The strippers in Prada.
Yeah.
That's one that I think is so much because
and,
I think when I tell people about it, I think they're like, "What kind of shows are you listening to?" I'm like, no, he's not bringing them because he's like buying their bodies or whatever. He's bringing them because he's like, well, they've never had this experience before. And he's giving out because it takes so long to buy anything in the shop, which I find so funny. The second one that I often tell to people is how him and his mate threw a party for people from the National Australian Bank.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, free drinks here. And they made a speech. Oh my God. It feels like comical.
What made you more hopeful than that? Like that, what an inspiring criminal.
You're right. But he wasn't like trying to be a good criminal. So he was never a good criminal.
He just seemed like a good guy who...
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't disagree.
Let's see, where are we at? I'm jumping around a little bit. I guess the flip side of that is what made you most angry?
I've been so angry this year with a lot of ours. What made me most angry? Escaping NXIVM was fucking disgusting.
Oh, that's a good answer. Yeah.
But then, and the band teacher, because there just was so many.
That's a good answer too.
People involved, but I don't know.
Those are good answers. I didn't think of those. I could have put other ones. I put Finding Ruby, which we've talked about already, but yeah, band teacher, NXIVM.
For the most hopeful, one of the ones that I feel like was really kind of beautiful was Fire Escape.
Oh yeah, forgot about that one.
And I feel like that's one actually I could probably say I think was like a little bit too short. I feel like I thought that at the time. I saw these too short, too long, and I was like, Jeff, I don't know. I feel like I remember thinking like I would like more about that.
This is maybe a cop-out answer, but I think some of the summer shorts ones that I thought could have been longer just because we just did one episode on them, and I think they were more complicated stories. Like I mentioned the Skywalks before. I think the other one that I might put there is Karen Reed. I think the Karen Reed story...
Yeah, I don't think we can say that was too short. I think we chose a short version of it.
Yes. Because like I thought about ones that were full series that were very short. Like The Final Days of Sergeant Tibbs was very short, but I feel like it told a whole story. It would have been interesting to spend more time with that story, but I think it was...
Is that the one you thought was too short?
It's one of the ones that popped into my head. I think I was thinking about stories that I wish I knew more about, and like most of them I think that I thought of were some of the summer ones. But again, that's sort of a cop-out answer. There's quite a few that I thought were too long.
Come here. Can we go back for a second to the least impressive criminal? Wasn't the couple from Deadly Barrage? Weren't they real bad?
I thought about that one. I didn't put it down, but I thought about that one. Yes, that's a good answer.
I think I remember thinking it was a little too long.
There were a lot of dumb criminals.
The Teacher's Pet was very long, but it did track. Like, I feel like it would make sense, and I think we discussed this at the time, if you were listening as it was unfolding.
Sure.
But I feel like it would be better as I know they need to synopsis that whole thing.
That was one of my answers for the show that was too long. I have two others. One was the Honey and Barry Sherman one.
Is that just the name was too long or what?
The name was too long.
They needed to talk about him and his wealth less.
Then the other one I have was one you mentioned before, which I thought about doing the voice. I'm not going to do the voice. Scamanda. Scamanda was too long. Scamanda could have been a one episode podcast, and I would have been okay with that.
It would have been too long.
The last thing is the show. If you could listen to anything we listen to in 2025 again, right now, what would it be? And why aren't you saying The Glitch right away?
I mean, I feel like The Glitch is definitely one that I've told people about because it's so different to what we usually like. It's upbeat.
It's upbeat.
It's great.
I have a not upbeat one. I put Lords of Death. I actually thought Lords of Death was one that
was my other one.
It went to so many interesting places. It was such a powerful story. I mean, we've talked about this a few times about these stories that are very personal. And I feel like re-listening to that now, I would probably get, especially after talking to Thrasher Banks, I think I would get some different things out of it. That's on my list for sure. Do you have others?
Yeah, I think The Witness.
I thought you were going to say one of the Irish ones.
Words.
Yeah.
That was so powerful, and I just thought it was so well done. I also thought Steak Knife was pretty good, but I think I remember thinking it was a little bit too long.
Steak Knife, I almost said because I feel like if I listen to Steak Knife again, I might pick up more, just understand it better. Because there was a lot of trying to understand like the context, like which you had more of that.
Well, you had that as well for Witness, because you were like, oh, like all these suburbs, and like I don't really get what's happening, and I feel like if you went in and listened without trying to listen, if you get me.
Yeah, I think The Witness was...
You might prefer it.
Was a lot harder to listen to, and I don't know that I'd want to revisit it. Like, it was very good. It was very powerful. It was also one of those ones that's like, it's so dark. It's such a tough story.
It's still ongoing as well, which
yes.
It's a lot. Operation Morning Light was very different as well. I feel like we did a good balance of like, madness.
That was a good one.
Jeez, remember CLIs? The Rolex was what got him.
Yeah. Operation Morning Light, I was going to put somewhere on this list, and because that's definitely one that I think about, or I talk about with people, because it was so unusual. It's such an unusual story. We had a good year. It's a good year for stories.
Good variety.
Yeah, we did well. Okay, let's talk about 2026. How are we going to do well in 2026? What do you hope for? What do you see as trends? What do you think we should do more of? All the things.
I think we should continue to travel, because travel broadens the mind. And I think we should continue to challenge ourselves to try and listen to different types of podcasts.
What do you mean by types?
Well, like different, I suppose, types of crimes or crimes that have like, I don't want to say unique, because that sounds like, I don't know. I feel like we should try and listen to stories, the types of stories that we haven't heard before.
Yeah.
I did like listening to some, like we touched on Karen Reid, on Giselle Pellico. It was interesting to get into those conversations in short episodes with about like kind of more timely crimes. But I don't want to veer away from telling the stories that don't get much airtime.
That's interesting, because I feel like a year ago, I definitely would have said the latter part about like stories that don't get a lot of attention. I think I still believe that. I still think that's, aside from just like different types of stories or different parts of the world or country or things like that, I definitely want to do more of that. But after doing like Karen Reid, Giselle Pellico, also Black Dahlia, I do think it's interesting to tackle some of those those big stories. Because also, if you go back to 2024, one of the most popular episodes that we had then was the one we did on Luigi Mangione. And I think those are interesting things to cover too. And I think we should just do a mix. Like, I think we should find space to tackle some of these like really high profile, sort of like Diana, right? Like Diana was one that I think was different from things we'd done before, but it was an interesting deviation. So I'd be up for doing more things like that.
Yeah, I definitely think the balance is good. I think like bringing in, and I suppose you only know this when you jump into it, like say for the Diana episode, how they were telling it through like fashion, and like you don't want to go in too gimmicky to anything, especially when we're discussing like delicate topics.
Sure.
You want to be respectful, and I think we always try to do that, but whether we succeed or not, I don't know, but we do always go in with the intent of trying to just be very respectful. But yeah, I don't know. I just think continuing down the guise of trying to find different places, different types of crimes, and also I think it's important not to shy away from those that are more difficult to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some of these ones were tough. This past year. But all right. That was 2025. That was 2026. What we're going to do. That's our year in review. I think we did it.
That is our year. Thank you all so much for listening and for supporting. We say it every time we ask for Patreon sign up. We ask you to leave a comment or to rate us. But really what we want to say is thank you so much for listening. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. This is we're moving into going towards our 200th episode. And we're so glad to have you all listening and to come along this journey with us.
Next time, Dee, we're going to do something a little bit different before we get into our 2026 previews and recaps. We're going to give everyone a little bit of a peek at what they will get when they sign up for our Patreon. So specifically, there's all kinds of fun stuff on Patreon. We talk about it every episode, but we're going to give you a little glimpse of all those bits from the time machine that aren't featured in the regular episodes in our regular feed. So it's going to be a clip show of Patreon exclusive content. Of course, we're not going to give you all of it. It's just enough to make you see what you're missing so that you go over to Patreon and sign up.
Wet that palate.
Yep, that's exactly right. So next time, a bunch of little clips from our Patreon time machine, stuff that you can only hear normally on Patreon. That's on the next So Much Crime,
So Little Time. So Much Crime, So Little Time is a production of MimeGov Media. The executive producer is Paxton Calariso. Our associate producer is Black Dahlia. Theme music was composed by Vyacheslav Starostin. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to this show in your podcast app. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and a review. Even better, tell your friends. To join the discussion, look for us on social media. Check out the show notes for all the links. Thanks for listening.